Hello everybody! Welcome to another video. I hope you remember this game, Angry Birds. I played it for a long time. I remember I had so much fun with it. And so last week I thought, well, I should create something similar to this in GDevelop. Maybe not exactly this, but something with the similar mechanics. And the most important thing I wanted to understand how to do is an aiming system. So before I actually throw an object, I want to see where it will end up. So I have created this, a little prototype of a game which is available on my itch.io page. Feel free to download it and play with it. It's all free. But basically, I will show you what it does. So it's a simple game prototype. We have cubes here. I can move this cube. But what you can actually do here is by dragging, with your mouse or touch, you have an aiming, system here, right? So I know exactly where my object will go. So the more you drag it, the more powerful the jump will be. The less you drag it, obviously, the less the jump will be. So let's try the simple one, a very small one. You see? We can try here now. Cool. The aim becomes red when you are moving, so you cannot jump again while you are moving. So that's why the dots become red. So let's try to jump here. I have a few moves left. Oh no, no, lost. Yeah, so you get the idea, right? So you can create a really nice, interesting game with this. The aim in this particular prototype is to catch that yellow flag, and I think I've done it. Cool. All right. So yeah, you see, it's a simple game mechanic. I think the most interesting part, the most challenging part was how do you create this aiming system. So I'll show you all of that, and yeah, let's go.
Wishforge Game Show, presented by our very own super charming and a little bit naughty Andrew Dynamite.
Okay, so as always, we'll start by creating a new project. So file, create new project, empty game. I'll go to game settings to set up quickly my resolution. In my case, I'm gonna use 1024 by 768 standard. Yeah, I'll leave everything like this. Apply and add a new scene. So this is gonna be my game, right? I'll set up a few things. Scene properties. I use this kind of a blue background just so we can see objects better. Now I'll start by creating, a few cubes, which we'll be using in different situations. So the first one I want to create is my player. I call it player. Oops. I can see nothing with this microphone in my face, but yeah. Edit object with Piscal. And I'll make my objects 48 by 48 pixels, and my player is gonna be green. Cool. Save. So now I'll set up my points. 48 divided by 2 is 24, if I remember maths well. Apparently yes. And yeah, press apply. So we have our player. Then I'll add some floor tiles. So I call this floor. Sorry. And edit with Piscal. I'll make it dark blue or something, like darker blue than my background. Okay, and it should be 48 by 48 as well. Oops. Cool. Save, edit points, same thing here. Let's put all the points in the middle of the object. So I have my floor tiles. Then I'll add these white boxes that you can hit and throw away, or just obstacles basically. So I'll call it box. and edited piscal. Again, 48 by 48. I'll make it white. Same thing. Let's put the points in the middle. Alright, we have the box. And the final thing here I'm gonna do is the sprite for my flag. So that's the thing you need to catch. I'll call it flag. Animation, same thing. It's gonna be 48 by 48. Resize. Let me make it like something like yellow. And just let's draw a flag there on top, just to, you know, so it's clear. I'll add a new layer, so eventually I can move it if I need it. So something like that. Cool. Yeah, something like this. I'll just put it here in the middle. Save. Edit points. Same thing, 24 by 24 for this as well. Cool. Okay, now we have all of these objects, and let's just set up the level quickly. In order to help me, as I know that all the objects are 24 by 24, sorry, 48 by 48 pixels, I can use my grid tool here. So set up grid, and I'll set it up for 48 by 48, and I show the grid. So now I can move objects like quite easily. So yeah, let me just create a few platforms. Okay, something like this. Let me just move all of it somewhere here. And I'll add a little bit of these boxes here. Just for fun. So this is our player. He'll start from here. And we have these objects here. Cool, we have everything there. Now we need to, you know, add some physics behavior to all of these objects, because obviously in my example I move everything based on physics engine. So first thing I'm gonna do is to set up floor, because that's the easiest one. So behaviors, add behavior, physics engine, and I'll make it static because they will always stay there, you cannot move them, okay? And that's cool. Next thing I'm gonna set up is my player object, right? So this is gonna be a little bit more challenging. So behavior, add behavior, physics engine, and now we need to set up a few things. So first of all, I'm gonna set up my hitbox. So the object is 48 by 48, so the hitbox is gonna be a little bit smaller, so I don't have any gaps when I touch platforms and things like that. So I think 44 by 44 will gonna work. I leave density and gravity scale by 1, that's okay, but restitution, which is the bounciness of the object, so the harder you hit something, the more you bounce. I'll put this one on 0.5, I want it to be a little bit more bouncy. I leave these two as they are, but I will change the friction, because I also want it to be a little bit slippery, right? So 1. Okay, and I think that's okay, let's leave it like that. So if we hit play now, you see it just felt on the floor and bounced a little bit. So that's cool. We need to add the same behaviors here to these objects. So behavior, add behavior, physics engine. And I'll do exactly the same, right? So restitution 0.5 and friction 0.1. So let's just leave it like that. 44, 44 here as well. Box, apply, yes. So now they're also dynamic. You won't see anything right now, but believe me, if this object hits this one, this one will fly away. I will not do anything to this one because this is purely an object that we need to collect, so it's fine being there without any behavior. But one thing I want to add to these boxes as well, because imagine a level where you have lots of them and they fall out of the screen. We don't want our system to keep them in memory or something, right? We want them to just destroy when they're outside of screen. So another behavior I'm gonna add here is destroy when outside of the screen. And you can actually decide when it is destroyed, right? So when it's outside of the screen, so it's immediately destroyed, or you will leave a little bit of, pixels margin before they get destroyed. So usually, I add a little bit to this. So I don't know, maybe 300 will work. Okay. Apply. So now if they fall, they will be destroyed outside of the screen. Cool. So another object that we should add is actually the aiming dots, right? So let me add that quickly. Sprite, I'll call it aim, add animation, edit with Piscal, and I'll make it quite small, 8 by 8 pixels. And let's draw like some sort of like a circle in the middle, or like a ball or whatever. Save, edit points. 4, just in the middle, close, apply, good. So we have our aiming points. So for this aim dot, we need to add some behaviors, and we need to add physics engine behavior to this one as well. I'll explain you why. So the idea I had on how to create this aiming system is basically before you release your mouse key to launch the object, we actually simulate same movement with our dot. So basically whatever you do with your dot, that's what will happen with your object when you release the key. So that was the idea I actually had when I was falling asleep. You just need to simulate it continuously, and then that's what the aim will be, right, for your next object. So I'll add physics engine to this one. For now I'll just leave it like that. We will need to change quite a lot of things here. But I will explain you a little bit later why. So let's just add physics engine here, and add as well another behavior which is destroy outside of the screen as well. So, but I'll explain you later why we need to do this. Cool. Cool, right? So now we can actually jump into the actions and start to see some things moving, right? Let's go to our events. So first thing I'm gonna do here is to add an action. So when mouse button is released and left button, trigger once, we will apply force to our object, right? And we'll choose apply force towards a position. So what is the force? So how powerful it is, right? So I would avoid to put like a precise number here, because I want it to be variable depending how far our mouse is. So we'll calculate the distance between our object and our mouse. So to do that, I'll just go here. So distance between two positions, and the first position is player X, and second X position is mouse X. The same thing for the Y position, so I just copy this, player Y, and mouse Y. Okay, apply. And we divide it by some number because that's going to be too powerful. Let's divide it by, I don't know, 2.5, so the number is smaller. And the position towards which we should, throw the object is gonna be mouse X and mouse Y. And we copy the same for applying X and applying Y position. Okay. So now what's gonna happen? So when we click anywhere on the screen and then we release our left key of the mouse or touch, then the system will calculate the distance between our player and our mouse pointer, apply that as a force. So that's gonna be the force, but we divide it by some number, so it's not gonna be too powerful, otherwise it will fly away so quickly. And I think this number is okay. And it will do all of that towards the position of our mouse. So basically, if we hit play now, and I tap here, you will see that our object, when I will release my left key, will fly towards that position and actually eventually hit my mouse pointer. Okay, exactly like this. So if I do here, it's gonna be way more powerful. You see? So one thing I don't like here is that, you know, it doesn't rotate always. So if I do this, it just flies, you know, like that. I wanted to give it a little bit of rotation every time. That's just more fun. So in order to do that, I'll just create another condition, and I'll make it a subcondition of this. And I check if my mouse X position is greater than my player X position. So that means if my mouse is on the right side of the object, then I apply this type of force to my object by 0.9. Okay, so it will always rotate a little bit to the right side if my mouse is on the right. So I'll show you how it works. So if I do it this way, you will see, well, sometimes it does, but sometimes it doesn't, right? So So you will see that if I tap here, you see it flew just without any rotation. But now, if I do it on the right side, it will always rotate by a little bit, always. So we do the same thing for the other side. So just copy and paste this. And let's say this is lesser than player X, so on the left side. And we invert this number. Just put a minus here. So now you will see that our player will always rotate. It doesn't matter what we do. It's gonna be always a nice, fun rotation. Just like that. Cool. So you see, we almost did all the game. But you know, this is where the interesting part comes in, because I want to show you how to make the aiming, right? So I want to show how you know where exactly your object will end up. So to start building this feature, I'll just create a new condition, and we do when the mouse is down. So when you press the mouse, we should see the aim. When we release it, our object should execute that aim and fly exactly on the trajectory that we saw before, right? So when mouse is down, okay, left button is down. So what should happen, right? So as I said before, we should create a simulation of what will happen with our player object. So I'll choose aim, and I say create an object at position of our player X and position of our player Y. So right in the middle of our player. And we apply the same kind of force to this object, right? So I'll just copy this and paste it here. And apply force to what? To our, aim. Hey man, you didn't subscribe yet. Press the subscribe button now.
Subscribe now.
Do I have to?
Get her done. Subscribe now. Now. Oh yeah.
Thank you very much. Right? So let's take a look what's happening right now. Okay. So if I press my key, you know, we see some dots here, right? Right now they move objects here because they have physics on top of them, but it creates some sort of aim, right? But there are things we need to fix, right? Because it doesn't work, right? It doesn't show you this. It just shows you the direction, and you know that there's lots of bugs here. It also jumps all the time I press it, but it's a good start, okay? We need to set up a few things on our aim first of all. So the first thing we're gonna do, it shouldn't interact with any other object because this is purely like UI indication of where this object will go. So we can just uncheck all of this. Okay, so it will not interact with other physics engine objects. So if I hit play now, we will not be able to move nothing with it. Okay, and that's great. You know, it looks like it shoots something. Yeah, it's not a really nice aim. Cool. Next thing, we should make it less powerful. And the way we're gonna do this, you know, this is purely playing with magic numbers. So on one hand, I'm going to reduce or increase the gravity of the object. On the other hand, I will go to the events and change this number. So if I go here, instead of 2.5, I multiply it. So I'll say, I don't know, multiplied by 4. So we take all the distance between our player and the mouse and multiply it by 4 instead of dividing it. Just go here and go to my behaviors. And what I found that worked well for me is this number, 95. I put lots of gravity because I want to lower that you know, aiming line. And another thing we need to change here is our hitbox, because the hitbox will give also the mass to the object, right? So now it's 0, 0, so it's very light. Let's simulate the mass we have for our player. So it was 44 by 44. So let's see if we're close now. Okay, we have this aim, right? Let's try to release the key and see if that our player follows the same curvature. I think that's close enough. Yeah, I think that works. Let me add quickly one thing here, so we can restart the level whenever we want. So key pressed, escape, trigger once, is true, then pause and start a new scene. Okay, cool. So now we can play around with this and see if it feels right. Okay. Yeah, I think it works quite okay. And then, you know, if it's not 100% precise, you can always play a little bit with those values to make it perfect. But I think this is good enough. So we have a few problems to solve, right? So you see I can actually jump whenever I want, right? So that's a problem. So let's start to fix this back. In order to do some of this stuff, we need to create some scene variables. So I'll just go here, right click, scene properties, edit scene variables, add a new variable called mouse, and I put it to 1. Okay, so now we're gonna check if our mouse is pressing the key or releasing or whatever happened with the mouse, because we need to make sure that when we are in the air or we are moving still with our object, we cannot jump again, because otherwise it opens a lot of doors to bugs and all that kind of stuff. So we created this scene variable, and just let's go here. And so let's say that we can only jump when the value of a scene variable mouse equals to 1. So only in this case we can actually jump, right? So when we cannot jump is when our object is still moving, right? So then let's just say linear velocity of our object is greater than 0. And also we want to add a little, you know, visual indication to that, you know, you cannot jump, right? So let's make this whole aim dots in another color. So when it's greater than 0, then we can say that aim color, tint color, it's gonna become red, okay? When it's not, it's gonna become white again. Okay, so now let's see how that works. See, it's red, and now it's green. Now it's white. So now we can jump. We have a perfect visual indication that we can now do stuff. And you see, we cannot jump if we fall out of the platforms. There's nothing you can do. So yeah, I think that's pretty cool. Now another thing I wanna do is to add a little bit juiciness to all this project, right? So I want this, you know, square to squish a little bit when we jump or things like that. In order to do that, I'll just add a twin behavior. So twin, apply, and now we go to our events, and where we see mouse released, that's where we're gonna do a little squish animation, right? So first of all, we need to scale down the object. So we search for we need to select the object first, then scale, and we scale it down by a little bit, 0.7. okay, oops, sorry, I need to put a point here. Cool. And the next thing we're gonna do, we're gonna bring it back to scale 1, which is the original scale, but with a little bounce animation using twin. So player, and let's search for twin. And let's search for object scale twin. Twin identifier, we just give it a name, like, I don't know, jump. I guess that's gonna work. We bring it back to scale 1. Type of easing, we can use bounce past, but you can choose different type of you know, twins here. It's different type of animations, and we do it very fast. And 500 is in milliseconds, so it's very fast. Press OK, and let's see if that looks alright. Cool, you see we have a little bounce animation there. I think that's nice. Cool. Now I think the last thing I'm gonna show you now is what happens when you capture the flag, so how we end the level there. The simple thing I'm gonna do is really to restart the level from the beginning. But if you download my project from itch.io, it has more things in it. It just I don't want to use a lot of time for this tutorial to explain you everything. Otherwise, it's gonna take hours. But you can take a look in my itch.io example. Lots of things there. So I will indicate and show you where you can actually put sounds. How we can count moves, and how we can, you know, do the winning animation or losing. So you will see all of that there. But for this last part of the tutorial, I'll just, you know, restart the level whenever we just capture the flag, right? So simply as that, I'll just say one player, collision, any type of collision with the flag, trigger once. Add an action, pause and start a new scene. Okay, so we'll just restart the scene if we capture the flag. So simple as that. You know, this is a really simple, fun prototype of a game. I'm really having lots of fun playing this. Really, I might do a game out of it. You know, I need to finish Squaremoji first, but you know, this is pretty fun. This is pretty fun. You can do lots of things here. Oops, let's restart. Let's try to capture the flag. Let's try. Oh man. It's not as easy as it looks. Cool. Done. So I won. So this is, you know, the basics for this game. As I said, just download the full project. There are more things there. You can take a look at more details, but this is really the core mechanic of it. And the biggest thing was really to find this way how to you create this aiming system. Okay, it works pretty well. Maybe numbers are a little bit off, but you can adjust them. And yeah, I think that's it for today. Thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you have any questions, please let me know. If you like this video and my other videos, please subscribe. Please join my Discord server. Please follow me on Twitter. And see you next time for another video. This month, I'd like also to say a big thank you to my two supporters, Oni and Gerens. They joined my YouTube membership program and they're supporting me more than a month so far. So really big thank you. I hope you pronounced your names right. And for those who don't know what the membership is, just press this join button and you'll get all the information there.